Well, hey, y'all. Welcome to the When We Walk podcast, where we talk about the things we talk about when we take our walks. I'm Shireen.
I'm Micah. Okay, so we have Christmas season coming up.
Yes.
What do you love about Christmas season?
Well, first of all, I love my Christmas cup I just got this
very
morning.
Nice.
Very festive. What do I love? I love so many things.
Mm-hmm. Can you choose one or two?
Can I just go down the list? I used to love really decorating for our house, but now it's just kind of stressful a little bit. I just really love all the things. I like the whole of
experience.
The whole experience.
Atmosphere.
Yes.
Ecosystem.
All of it.
Yes.
Like different flavored cookies that we enjoy for the holidays. Like I only make those ginger snap cookies around Christmas for some reason.
Yeah,
I mean, you can eat ginger snaps anytime you want,
Yeah.
but it feels like it only fits at Christmas.
Yeah.
And then I love having Christmas mugs and things. I don't know. I like the whole of the festivity season.
Yeah, you do. You get into it. Yeah,
what about you?
It's probably similar. I like the overall change in the atmosphere. It just feels like a fun, positive time of the year.
Positive, yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It just feels
the world feels a little nicer.
It's cheery. Yeah, people are usually in pretty good moods. It's a pretty It's
Christmas music, it just makes you feel good.
Music feels good.
Right? When you walk in the stores and it's this cheery Christmas music.
Yeah. Gifts. I'm a gifts person. And so the anticipation of gifts, just even the anticipation in the air that gifts are out there is
You know what else I love? I feel like we should say this, but I actually do really love it. I love our Christmas Eve services.
Yeah.
I get very excited about them.
They're great.
Because we have such a fun, creative team that it's what are they going to do this year?
Yeah.
What are the fun, crazy things they're going to do on stage for Christmas Eve that we get to enjoy? I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. It's good. There's a lot to be excited about in this time of year. What are you not as excited about?
Oh, do we have to go there? Okay. I know there's a big debate of do we start talking about Christmas before Thanksgiving? That's a whole thing.
Yep.
I think what I don't love, I don't mind doing it. I've got my Christmas cup before Thanksgiving. I don't mind getting out my decorations. What I don't
But we would never do our tree before.
No, because we get a real tree.
Yeah.
So that would be too long. It'll be twigs.
But that's not the reason why. I couldn't imagine having a tree up before Thanksgiving. That would feel weird to me.
I agree. That would feel weird. But I think Christmas decorations in stores and stuff is fine.
Yeah.
But that's what I don't like. I think I don't like that all of a sudden, already right around Halloween, they are marketing to our kids, to us.
Yeah.
Black Friday deals, get them early. It's this pressure. And then, I just said it last night. I want us to get a new set of sheets. But I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Black Friday deals.
Yeah.
It's this mentality now that it revolves around what advertising world and the stores we walk in tell us. And so I don't like that. I don't like that they get to start dictating those things.
Yeah. They set the timeline.
I don't like that.
The direction of things. Yeah, they totally do. And it's this battle now for your dollar as soon as they can get it from you. So they want to get, Charlie had mentioned something recently that he wanted. So I looked at Walmart.com and they had already, you could already get what was called their Black Friday deals a couple weeks ago. And
Target's doing the same thing on my app as soon as I open it up.
You don't have to wait till Black Friday.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think the consumerism, I think I relate to that, is kind of the press we feel to, I think with a lot of kids too.
Yeah.
It's the shopping involved with okay, let's make sure we have the right gifts for them and that it's the right disbursement of everybody's kind of getting equal everything.
Oh, I feel that pressure.
That for me is what I most struggle with, which is interesting because I enjoy the whole gift giving experience. But over the years, you and I have had some of our biggest fights in the Christmas season around the kids, what we're going to get them and your philosophy versus my philosophy and the time and the energy involved in all of it.
We should probably like pause and say, if you're listening to this with little kids, maybe if we're disclosing information about
right
how you do gifts.
Right. Yes.
But we have our biggest fights about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've gotten some big ones over the years. Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about this. Like how do we
talk about our fights?
Maybe,
in front of everyone?
We could, or we could just what we've learned from our fights.
Yes.
Maybe how to do the Christmas season well. Maybe all the positive stuff that we enjoy about it. How do we make sure that the consumer mentality doesn't so get into our hearts and our minds that it steals what can be a really beautiful season?
Yeah.
Both with relationships and with relationship to Jesus and all of that. Like all of that can kind of get stolen when we get caught up in kind of what our society has created around the Christmas season, as far as consumerism and all that kind of stuff. So maybe let's talk a little bit about that. Maybe we can help some people learn from our mistakes on how we have stumbled through many Christmas seasons, stressed and frustrated, and have probably come out. I think we're doing pretty good these days.
I think we've gotten
learned
better.
Some good stuff. Yeah.
I think some of it is, first of all, I love the Christmas season with our kids, especially when they were little and we got to play Santa.
Yeah.
That is my favorite thing. One of my favorite things of parenting. Can I even say that? Yeah. I love it. And so the hard part, I think, with you and I was like, we didn't have a lot of money when they were little. And so we didn't buy them a lot of things throughout the year. And so Christmas always felt like I wanted to just lavish them with stuff, fill their stocking with things and get them everything on their list.
Yes. And a bunch of, you do 1,000 little things.
I do love
where
filling
I would
the stocking.
prefer one grand gift.
Yes,
per
you
kid.
would.
Yeah.
You would. And I always feel like, okay, they open the one thing and then it's over. That's so sad.
Right.
I like them pulling out like all the things out of their stocking.
Yeah. Because that's what you like to do.
I do. I do. But those little things add up. That's what we found out. Yeah. I got excited early on and I would buy all these little things for our kids, we weren't actually budgeting very well for Christmas. We've always budget.
Well, we'd set a budget.
We would.
But it's like deals.
What are you
continue.
trying to say?
No, it's the whole like Black Friday's here. You better jump on these deals.
Yes.
But what they don't tell you is they're going to do another thing in a week and another thing in a week and another. And so we would have our budget set. We would kind of start strong and sticking with it, the same amount per kid. But then it was like, but then I found this, and there's this opportunity, and
then
this thing went on sale.
Even it out when you buy it for one, you've got to even it out.
Yeah,
for the
so
others.
I got them a book, and now I need to get every kid a book.
Yeah, well,
multiply that. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
that is how I feel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You do not feel that way.
Not so much. I mean, I think that equality, I agree with. The quantity is what I struggled with. I would have much rather gone simpler, and not just from a economic standpoint. I think it's just easier. Yeah. I don't like the busy. And so for me, it was like, if we could go out and get 4 great gifts and give them to our 4 kids,
I mean,
we're done.
Deep in your heart, you're a minimalist.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And so, and I have tried
deep inside
and
trying
to
get out. Yeah.
And so here we are, married, trying to do Christmas. But I do have, I still have convictions of like, I don't want to overdo it for our kids. Like, one of the things we've always said, we're never going to give our kids, like they wouldn't get a phone for Christmas or their birthday. That's not a gift. This is a tool to be stewarded and used. And so we give it to them at an appropriate time when we can have a conversation. And so it's not a gift that becomes theirs. And so there are still some, like, I feel like we have some convictions and boundaries around how we, buy gifts or shop around the holidays. It is hard too, because you want to be, it is a season where you feel like I'm ready. I want to be generous.
Right. Of course,
right.
Yeah.
Like I always feel like, oh my gosh, I want to get teacher gifts and I want to get really great ones. And we have 4 kids who have lots of teachers, turns out. Yeah. And I can't go as extravagant as I would want to because of budget. But your heart is like, I want to bless them so much in this season.
Yep.
But then you want to bless your neighbors, and then you want to, and your coworkers and your family. And it just starts to get.
Adds up very quickly.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yeah. And you can go the other way, and you can do nothing for others. And so, I think maybe expectations is something I'm kind of word that's popping into my mind now as you enter into the Christmas season, setting some expectations around like, and whether you have kids, whether you're single, whatever, like maybe go ahead and think through what you want the Christmas season to look like when it comes to gift giving, finances, budget, to be able to go ahead and set some boundaries around what you're going to do and not let kind of the deal cycle determine what you spend and when and how you spend, but maybe go ahead and have a predetermined, at least like some soft boundaries around like, this much per person, or this is my overall Christmas budget, or even time frame of like, I'm going to have all my shopping. Some people are planners. And so it's like, I'm going to have all my shopping done by this time. And then I'm just not going to keep looking for deals after that.
I do think we try to do that. Yeah. We like to try to be done so that we can enjoy the rest of the season. And you don't feel this pressure of constantly having to keep up with the deals or to get the next gift for someone, or you missed someone on your list. I think there's a point where we usually try to say like that. I think we're done. Yep. Like as soon as our kids are done with school, I'm usually like, let's just enjoy. Let's go do fun things. Let's bake cookies. Let's do gingerbread houses. Let's go look at lights. Let's go have a
just
party
enjoy
with friends.
The season.
Let's just enjoy being together. Let's
some people kind of shop through the season and they miss all the fun things that are happening.
There's so many other things
jumping from store to store.
Right. So I think having boundaries on a lot of it. I think on time that's also a good one too.
Yeah.
So
and something you did one year, I don't know if we've done it recently, but you had that list of like, here's the things we're going to do before Christmas. Do you remember that? And you let the kids kind of pick and choose, like, we're going to look at lights and get hot chocolate.
Oh, I did. When they were a little bit younger, we would do that.
Yeah, you would create this list and you had like 10 things that we're going to do. We're going to make cookies one day and take to our neighbors. We're going to, and that I think enhanced the experience of the season, that it didn't just feel consumer. It didn't just feel focused all around buying and spending, but being able to create some space in our lives to like evaluate, look at your city and say, okay, here's the things that are going on in our city, or look at your family or your friend group and say, what do we enjoy doing? And infusing in some times that's just quality time, enjoying the season, that kind of a thing.
I think the hard part even with that, because I do remember doing that, and then I think I got to a point where I felt
I think what happened is we didn't finish the list, and you were like, oh my gosh, why do we do that?
Exactly.
Because you started to feel, that's what it was.
It's pressure.
You started to feel as we got really close to Christmas, we haven't done like 4 of these things.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh.
And I feel like my kids are going to miss out. They're going to go back to school and hear all the great things that these other kids' families did, and they're going to be crushed.
Yeah.
And you feel this pressure. And I think it's not just for parents. I think we all feel it now, especially with social media, right? Like, oh, look at the fun thing they're doing for Christmas. Look at the tradition they have. Okay, this is so dumb. This is the newest one that I watch. I'll follow all these people and I'll see some of their holiday traditions that they do these fun, silly games together as families, like big game nights, and everyone's laughing around the table and, whatever. And I'm like, we don't do that. We're not as much game people. We do with some of our friends, and we do sometimes with
just as a
the
family,
kids. Someone always gets mad because we're highly competitive. I'm not. Some other people are.
Are you pointing to me?
Maybe.
I don't think I care that much.
Well,
about beating our kids at things.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I do.
So I just feel like it happens to me. Like I look at the things and think, well, we're not doing that. Should we be doing that? It really does creep in.
Yeah.
And so that I think is real, and that happens. And so you make these lists and set these expectations. And then if you feel like you're not meeting them, either you're disappointing yourself, set your expectation, or you're disappointing your family or friends or whoever.
But the upside of that is we did
things.
The things on the list. We did some of the things.
We don't look at
and that's the point.
I don't always look at that.
We did some fun stuff.
Right.
So maybe setting a budget, maybe budgeting time.
I think you have experiences. To set a budget, yeah.
I think too, like thinking outside the box helps. Again, it's not letting kind of the expectations of our culture determine what your time is going to be like. Now, tradition is wonderful. Like,
right.
It's fun to find some traditions in life. And, but one of the thing we did last year for our kids for Christmas and taking a trip
we took
instead
a trip
of getting a bunch of gifts.
That's
a huge win.
Was my favorite.
Yeah. Just them being in a place in life right now where they don't want as much stuff anymore. They want clothes and money.
They don't believe in Santa.
So that's not as fun. And so taking the trip was a surprise to them, but B, it was a great experience together as a family, even though we drove for 12 hours on Christmas Day.
Okay, it was a debacle, but turned into the best memories, I think, for our family.
So short version, we were going to fly out to Arizona on Christmas morning at like 6 a.m.
We had already told the kids though. Yeah. We're not that good at surprises to where we can do it morning of.
Yeah, they knew. And so we were planning on doing that, and we wake up to your flight has been delayed, and then we get to the airport and there's a line a mile long. Your flight has been canceled. And
we were the lucky ones, a part of the Southwest debacle that happened.
And we benefited a lot.
We did, actually.
Travel funds from that. But I remember the couple, we were in the back of the line, and the one couple we heard walking past us had just gone to the ticket counter and were on the phone, and they were like, okay, so we're going to drive to Denver and meet you there. And I looked at you and said, we are not driving to Scottsdale. We are not. Like, we're going to go home and we're going to have Christmas morning at our house, and we're going to cancel this whole trip. And 2 hours later, by the time we got to the ticket counter, we had already decided, I guess we're driving to Scottsdale.
I don't even know how that transpired.
Yeah,
but we got there.
I think I needed time to get over the disappointment that this isn't what we wanted it to be, and the day's not going to look the way we want it to look. And instead of trying to get back at the universe of like, well, I'm just not going to be on board with this. I'm just going to go home and pout. It was like, I think we realized, like, let's make the most of it.
And our kids were willing.
Oh, it was incredible. It was like a great drive.
Travelers.
We had
it was a great We had a great rental car, the whole thing. Yeah. We stopped along the way at some cool places we would have never seen.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a dream at that point. And so being able to do something completely different that was an experience that wasn't just about stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is the way I put it when I was trying to pitch to you, let's do trips instead of stuff, because you love gifts so much, is what do you remember what you got when you were like 13? Go back. Anybody listening, can you remember what you got Christmas? Maybe a few. Like I have a few vivid Christmas morning memories.
8th grade, 2 pair of Levi's 501 jeans.
Okay.
And do you know I remember? Because I had finally gotten to the shape where I didn't have to wear elastic pants.
You were outside of the husky phase.
I was outside of the husky phase.
Oh, good.
So I got jeans.
So that was memorable.
Jeans. Yeah, because I didn't grow much after that. I wore those jeans into high school.
Oh, wow.
I mean, sorry, into college. Literally, I wore those jeans into college, 8th grade jeans.
Yeah, that was memorable then. Okay. Well,
so I remember.
Some people might remember some things, but for the most part, we don't remember every gift we get.
No.
So to try to outdo ourselves with these extravagant things we buy that don't matter, I just saw it as, why not do an experience as a family? Yep. And that has helped for us.
Yeah, that's been good.
I think there are other families who do things like Jesus got 3 gifts.
Yeah.
That's how many you get.
Yeah.
Or what is it? We have our friends, the Ballards. I don't know if they still do, but they used to do. Yeah, they would do Happy Birthday, Jesus. But they would do something to wear, something to read, something you want, and something you need.
Oh, that's good. And it rhymes.
It does. Yeah. So it's easy to remember. Yeah. And so it was 4 things.
Yeah.
And so those, you kind of already set the expectation of what this is.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, something you want, our kids would go extravagant with that. Yeah. But so there are ways to kind of temper.
Again, it's setting expectations and kind of making a plan.
There's ways to temper it.
Yeah. I think, too, is making sure, as followers of Jesus,
right?
It's such a great season for us to not be so consumed by the consumer culture,
right,
and the rat race and the spending and the shopping and the busyness, is to like find some space in this beautiful season to remember what it's about. And I know it sounds so cheesy, the reason for the season, all that kind of stuff. So, but there really is something beautiful about the Advent season and the reality of the God who came to us, and finding some space in your life to engage that.
Yeah.
And I know we've tried different things. We've tried like some Advent readings. We've had different books that we've tried to like read as a family.
In different seasons, it's been different things. It just depended on age for our kids and what we had time for, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think there are things that they do enjoy. Like, we had a friend who made us a beautiful Advent calendar that we pull out every year, and it has these beautiful readings.
Just like a homemade Advent calendar.
Yeah, and awesome. He wrote these beautiful readings every day. And our kids actually love to get up in the morning. Who's going to open it? Who's going to read it out loud?
Yeah.
And it's still like something
and there's no
love.
like chocolate in it or anything.
No,
it's
there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
It's just reading.
And what was the book that we read?
Oh, we got that really, it's
like
really
Ann
beautiful.
Voskamp,
Ann Voskamp, which also I have her, I have like the adult devotional version, which is my favorite. I always get excited. I can't wait to get it out every year and I read it every year.
Yeah.
And I put notes in it and I would date it so that I can see like the things every year that like stood out to me in that devotional.
Yeah. And that, I think too, the Advent thing, or even having any kind of like expectations around, just connecting with Jesus or bringing him to the forefront in the midst of the season for yourself or for your family or your friends. It's similar to the list you talked about earlier, where the list of things we're going to do this month. It's like it might be 24, readings throughout the month or something, and just to be okay saying we might get to a third of these, and that's okay.
We didn't finish
That's still
them.
better than doing none of them.
Yes, that's what I've had to get to.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it can feel like, oh my gosh, there's no way we're going to read 24 times every night, so why even do it at all? But just to say, we're going to give it a shot and see. I
think that's good. And it keeps it in perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
And just realizing like what you have time for as well, instead of trying to do it all.
So as with so many things we've talked about on this podcast, you and I go back to kind of the same principles. Like, I think part of surviving the season is just planning ahead. It's setting expectations, communicating those expectations with the people around you, whether it's budget or time or, your spiritual practices.
Talking to your family.
And then giving yourself grace when you don't hit it all out of the park. You don't do it perfectly, but at least you were closer to what you hoped for the season than if you had just not done any planning.
That's so true.
At all. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's good.
So, what is on your wish list for Christmas? What do you want?
Man, you know me. I always want to take a trip.
Yep.
I like experiences. So, where are you going to take me?
Well, we've got it planned.
We do. We can't. We can't say it.
Can we not say it?
I don't think so.
If our kids are going to.
I don't know. I don't think our kids are listening to this.
We'll say it later once we let them know. Every now and then.
We just haven't told them yet.
Yeah.
So.
So you trip for you. For me, it's like, I know I'm a gifts person, but honestly, as I've gotten a little bit older, like I just crave sun and warm.
Yeah.
In this, as we enter into the winter months and Christmas. Last year we did the Scottsdale thing, and it was like the coldest week in Scottsdale.
It was cold,
which was such a bummer. And so warm would be nice, like sun would be nice.
I'm hoping for that.
So I'm on the same page as you.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought you were going to tell me something you really want.
You're like trip. You could trip anywhere.
I could.
And you could be happy. When we start talking trip, most of the destinations I suggest
are
warm and sun.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just so you're aware. And yeah, I don't have like a lot of.
I can't control the weather.
I don't have a big like wish list this year in terms of stuff. Mm-mm.
See, your heart is shifting.
It's changing.
Experiences with your family.
Am I growing up or giving up? I don't know. That's great.
It's good.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that is helpful for you as you are entering into the Christmas season along with us. And I hope and pray that for everyone listening, it can be an amazingly refreshing and life-giving season for all of y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be with you next time.